Not the what?
But not the Star Trek shows. They've all got plenty.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I like these. I'm tired of breakneck, tightly plotted 6, 8 episode movies or whatever. I
Yeah.
want
Well, that's why when I was
go.
trying to watch 24, like I've watched the first 4 seasons, I was like, I need to take a break. It's too much.
Yeah, well, it's
That's
not even that. It's like
24
I want.
episodes of tightly packed, absolutely no filler shit.
Yeah, for me though, it's more that I want to take some time and explore. You know what I mean? Like have character moments and things like that. And we talked about it last time, so I'm not gonna complain. Like I still like this a lot, but yeah, I don't know. I think the perfect length of a season is about 13 to 14 episodes. 26 is a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I want more. I don't want these 12 episodes and then they kind of drag in the middle because they're like trying to pace it out. It's like just make a decision, one or the other.
Yeah.
If you want to be a movie, be a movie. That's fine. No one's gonna judge you, but don't be a limited event that's long. Be a series that recurs and is the right amount.
My bigger issue is that you get these 8 episode seasons because they can't cut the story down into just like a movie, or they think they can
Yeah,
milk it more by making it a series, but they don't give it a bigger budget, but they keep it like movie levels of grand, and it's just like sometimes things just look bad or look like old cable TV shows or like direct to
yeah.
TV movies, and it's just like if you're gonna try and tell this tightly packed narrative, like at a certain point, you can't let the medium get in your way. Like sometimes I'm watching something and it just looks too shitty and it pulls me out of the context of the show. You know, it's just like sometimes 8 episode show is a good length for a story. You know, but like sometimes it just doesn't fit the budget for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, eight can
You're
work.
gonna have
Like
to give me an example of what you're talking about, Andy.
The Lord of the Rings one.
Oh wow. Didn't bother
yeah.
watching that.
Rings of Power, I think it was. And then the new Game of Thrones one just looks bad, I think.
All right, I
It
liked
was
the first season.
fantastic.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. Part of the reason I like the first season, I'm one of the rare people who likes Star Wars Episode 1 specifically because of the Senate stuff. I know a lot of people are like, we don't care about trade routes, but I was like, yes, tell me more about these trade route taxes and things like that. I like that a lot. So this, like season
I mean,
one,
that's such a stupid complaint. It's not. It's not about the fucking trade.
no, I
It's
know that.
about
I
the
know that.
blockade. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know. But like a lot of people are like, they just
No, I
whenever
know people
and it
bitch about
comes
that
up, they're
because
just
they're
like, I
stupid.
just don't care about this. But I thought the Galactic Senate part was really cool, and I wanted to see more of it. And yeah, and House of the Dragon season 1 is setting up the seeds for this civil war, and a lot of it is like a succession crisis. And I'm like, I was deeply invested in that because I like when a world takes itself seriously. Like, okay, if you're going to have a monarchy, you're going to have succession crises and things like that. And yeah, I thought it was really well done. And so I was all about that and how the alliances, before the war starts, the alliances shift and change and things like that. I really liked it. And most of the effects in season 1 were really, really good. I admit, I say most of the effects, it wasn't perfect, but by and large, like they used the budget well. But if you want a great example of something that was 8 episodes and it was done really well, like it was the perfect length, then Fallout is great for that.
Hmm. I'm not a big fan of the Fallout show. I know everybody loves it, but I'm not a big fan.
Oh,
I haven't started because I really don't like the game. So
no, that's fair.
I've
No, I
tried
agree.
a couple of or three of them, and each time I'm like, I play for like an hour, and I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, I played Fallout 3 and loved it. I played New Vegas and loved it, and then found out years later that loving both of them is forbidden.
Yeah,
So I don't.
how
I
dare
guess
you?
I. Yeah. So unfortunately, well, what am I going to do? But then I played, because I love both of those, I was like, oh, let me try Fallout 4. People keep telling me Fallout 4 is really good. And then I played it, and I got to the first thing where they're like, you need to set up a base. And I was like, turn this off.
That is exactly where I quit. I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
not doing that.
Like the whole, like, oh, storm the museum part. I was like, yeah, I'm all about this. This seems pretty cool. And set up a little town. I'm like, wait, what? And then they're like, I literally got to a point where I couldn't, like, it was like, oh, you need to place like 4 beds. I was like, I'm not going to do that. And then I just stopped and never picked it back up. I heard Fallout 76 was good because it was doing that sort of thing, but like that thing was integrated into the system. It was kind of like not Minecraft. That's really reductive, but it's kind of like a Minecraft version of of Fallout, where you are like building base and exploring and gathering resources and setting civilization up is the point of it. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Whereas Fallout 4, I was just like, I just want, like, I like that Fallout 3 and New Vegas, there is a clear goal and you can pursue it, and you'll get distracted by a million different little side quests and you can ignore them, or you can just do them and it doesn't really matter. Whereas this was like, stop to build this thing. I'm like, I don't want to build it. Like, don't make me do, like, have the, like, I'm fine with railroaded plot lines and things like that, but like, don't make me actually set up camps and towns and things like that. Just, those should just be there. But anyway, the show is good. If you don't like the games, Brian, the show is good because you don't need to know anything about the games. I like that.
Well, yeah, and then I won't be one of those people fucking whining that it didn't, that something didn't work right or something. You know what I mean?
I do like weird. I remember before the show came out, they were saying like that they are going to make a Fallout show that has nothing to do with the games. It's set after all the games are set. They're just like, we're going to tell a story in this world and be as authentic to the world as we can, and not worry about following any specific game. And I think that was a really smart choice.
Yeah.
Well, one of the, like, I won't spoil it, but so it is set after all of the games, but it does interact with the endings of Fallout New Vegas. And so I understand why some people are annoyed by that, because ultimately it says, what did you do? Oh, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what decisions you made in that game. And I don't have a problem with that, because it's like, yeah, I mean, I understand the limits of storytelling. There were like 4 distinct endings you could go for, and then multiple minor endings based off of each character, or like, like each individual character in that game had their own, small cutscene with what happened to them. So it's like, I get why they can't say, okay, one of these 4 things is the canonical ending. Like, that's the thing that I like, is that the main writer guy or whatever has straight up been asked, well, okay, this happened, so what's the canonical ending of New Vegas? And his answer was, all of them are canonical. But okay, that makes sense to me. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking about shows about the line of Succession is fantastic.
Oh yeah, Succession really was, and it took me a while to figure out why I liked it, but eventually I did. And
right, because they're all terrible people.
Yeah,
like all of them.
Yeah, and it's really not about. It's really, in my opinion, it's about how far will someone debase themselves to get the thing that they want. And one person was willing to be the bore on the floor, and everyone else wasn't. Or they were, but they wouldn't go far enough, or they just weren't good enough at it.
Oh, shit. Maple Leafs didn't get eliminated yet.
Good for them. I don't think they can beat the Panthers, but I want to see them try. And actually, wait, they won't play the Panthers. They'll play the winner. They'll play New York, I think.
I have no idea. I'm so checked out of hockey the last season or 2.
Well, I've been paying attention. I just haven't been watching because it's impossible to watch sports on TV now. But yeah. TBS streams a couple of games a week, and they're streaming not all.
A lot of them. A lot
of playoff games. So I'm actually watching them. And it's like, hey, go figure. If you make it easy to watch something, I will watch it.
Yeah, and those ones that are on TBS and TNT, I can watch on Mac.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been watching them on Max live. Look, I love the Sharks. I will always love the Sharks. In fact, I mentioned the Sharks in my summary of this episode. But watching good teams play, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Like even when the Sharks were good, like they were undoubtedly good for a while. But even when they were good, watching them, I was like, oh, they were a chaos mode team, which is why I loved them as much as I did. Like they almost never scored a pretty goal. Every goal they got was ugly. It was off a broken play. It was off of something they could never. And you watch like what was it? I was watching Vancouver and the Predators, and the thing is, both those teams are actually they're good, but like they're not. Neither of them are that good. But watching them do like crisp tape to tape and like setting up and doing plays and shooting from the point and shooting from in down low and things like that is so funny compared to like what I would see when I was watching Sharks games. And it was like, the big three of like Thornton, Heatley, Marlowe, and all them. When it would just be like, they have a plan to break into the zone, but then be like, something went wrong, just start shooting. And it would actually end up working. Ugh.
No, the plan was always just like, get Thornton behind the net with the puck and then move around a bit.
Yeah.
And then he'll pass it to you, and then you get a goal or you don't. And then he'll get the puck again, he'll go back behind the net. And then just see what happens.
Yeah.
I can't believe how often they just let him stand back there with the puck. Like, are you guys stupid?
Yeah, well, that's because that was in the regular season. In the postseason, those teams were like, we know that we don't have, like, we just have to shut this one line down, and then we're not, like their other lines just aren't good enough, and so we don't have to worry about it. And so it's like, all right, you do what you do. There was like, oh, God, I remember reading or hearing a story about basketball playoffs where like there was a team that was basically just one guy, and it wasn't LeBron because LeBron could still just power his way through, but like it was a team that was like one guy, and the star player on the other team was supposed to guard him, and he just didn't bother. They like the entire team just ignored this one guy, and he would get like 60 points. Well, that's a lot, but he would get a ton of points per game, and he would do all that, and the team would still lose like 98 to 120 or something, even though he would have like a 30, 40, 50 point night. And they were just like, yeah, good for you, man, good for you. And like that's the thing, it's like the Sharks were always kind of like that.
You mean like Carlson getting 100 points last season?
Yeah. Or the other thing, as much as I love them, they never adapted to realize that in the playoffs penalties are turned off. It's like,
yeah,
they like it literally is like if you play NHL 24, you could go in their pregame settings and just say, yeah, no penalties, and it's essentially like that. And so like the Sharks, great skilled team, but skill isn't going to get you through when you're allowed to just take your stick and bash it over someone's head, and maybe if you do it right in front of the ref, they'll give you a 2-minute minor penalty or something. You know what I mean? You're out for the day and probably for the week, but that's why they got their two-minute penalty. It's like, yeah, it's messed up. That's the same problem the Leafs have had for a while. Like they have an unbelievably skilled team, but they keep running into the Bruins. The Bruins are just like, yeah, we're gonna just beat the shit out of you legally, no less, and get away with it because we know they're going to call 4 penalties the entire game, 2 for you, 2 for us, and they're all going to be make-up calls for things that they missed, or just be like, all right, we've got to make sure it's fine. So, yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of seasons we got knocked out of the playoffs. Even though we were a better team, we got knocked out of the playoffs by the Ducks doing exactly that fucking thing, just bullying the shit out of us off the puck.
Yeah, and just being like, all right, well, we're just going to not cheat because it's not, I mean, it is against the rules, but that's the thing, is you have to understand that the playoffs have a different set of rules. And so, therefore, regular season, yeah, it's against the rules. Postseason, no, it's totally fine.
So, you go to a concert or something, Andy?
No, I think I'm just getting sick. I don't know. My throat is all thrashed.
Your voice is like extra low.
Yeah. Also tired.
It could just be allergies. My allergies have been insane.
Maybe, I don't know. I've never had like seasonal allergies before. Thank God. I know I'm probably in for it eventually. My father has terrible seasonal allergies, so.
Yeah, mine were nasty like a week ago. Really
Get a
bad.
test. Go. If you have Kaiser, go to Kaiser. Not an anesthesiologist. That's not what it is. Allergy center or whatever. Get tested, because odds are you've developed an allergy to something in your days. Like I told you, I developed the allergy to dust mite, not dust mites, but dust mite leavings, droppings, whatever you want to. I don't know. And that killed me for a long time until I, ran this dehumidifier basically nonstop and got a new mattress and new sheets, because I was like, I could wash them more, but just get new ones entirely, start over from scratch. And now I'm fine on that, but this goddamn tree jizz that's in the air, that's killing me. And so I've started taking Allegra each morning, and that gets me through. I'm hoping that, because I got 15 tablets, I'm hoping that by the time I run out, the rain has washed away the pollen that's still around, and we're good to go.
Well, it's supposed to rain like hell this weekend.
Black hole sun, won't you come?
Yep. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? I just realized that it's like, or is it wash away the pain?
I don't know. Either way,
it's rain.
Speaking of coming, should we get started on the episode?
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Outwit, Outplay, Outcast, Right Podcast, Nightly Geeks Network, episode 10 of season 46, Run the Red Light. You heard us talking a bit. You know who we are and everything. I am allergic to two things, some certain pollens and dust mites. Andy believes he's not allergic to anything, but by this point in his age, almost certainly is. Brian, are you allergic to anything?
Those things they test you for, like grass and ragweed and trees, I'm highly allergic to all of them.
He's also allergic to bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone else read the thing. It's at the bottom. What I'll say going into this, I actually, I was annoyed at the episode, but in the end, I appreciate what it did.
All right, obviously I'm not reading it. Well, maybe I can. Let me see. We'll try and deep voice this.
Yeah, you read it, because I don't have it open.
Liz goes from irate to irrelevant as soon as people explain the vote split to her. Q's mentally checked out, thinking he's the GOAT instead of just a goat. Kenzie and Maria are ready to drop Tiffany, but afraid of her idol. The reward challenge is the return of eating good in the neighborhood with Applebee's, with Liz going berserk at the merest mention of a burger. Q burns through the obstacles like Applebee's hot wings burning through your anus after a long night of, eating at Applebee's. But he can't get the bag on the pole, and it becomes anyone's game. But even as I type this, he lands the bag and wins. But my point still stands. Q picks Tiffany.
Got back in the game, so yes, it's true.
I did really love the tease of Liz's first one almost getting it. Oh, man. Survivor blue balls. Q picks Tiffany, Maria, and Kenzie. Liz is understandably miserable and explodes in a berserker rage. The drama continues for a couple commercial breaks, and you get the gist of it, but it's worth pointing out, I think, that Liz's brother was wearing a San Jose Sharks shirt in one of the photos that flashes up on the screen. 4 people can step out of immunity to get rice for everyone, but only Liz opts for it, netting her a little bottle of rice baby for herself. Venus's hands are too sweaty and she can't get a grip, being eliminated almost immediately and is riceless. Ben doesn't last much longer. Q drops and everyone celebrates, but of course he's not going to be eliminated. Tiffany looks like she'll win until she doesn't, and Charlie gets the second immunity. The commercial hasn't happened as I type this, and I know they're going to vote her out. Anyway, Charlie admits to doing strenuous gripping activities being a big help in his game. Yeah, I bet he does a lot of strenuous gripping activities. Sure enough, Maria turns the tribe against Tiffany, but they rightly split the vote in case she plays her idol, which she does not, because this fucking season, you guys. This fucking season.
Yeah. So
this fucking season.
was in the moment when I typed that because it's like, oh my god, it's gonna happen again, isn't it? And then it happened again. But the reason I'm prepared to say that I like the way that they did it was they showed you every step of the way. Maria talking to these people, realizing she needs to talk to Liz because Liz wants to get Q, and in the end, you see that Liz voted. I mean, I don't know if they showed her vote. Yeah, of course they do at the end. Sorry. Yeah, she voted for Liz. Or no, she voted for Tiffany over Q. So she was all on board with this, and so they showed you this every step of the way. And the only real drama became, will she play it or not? And even at that, you get the feeling, essentially based off of what happened in the last episode, that that Tiffany is not going to. She is very confident it's going to be Q, and she just doesn't feel the need. And so, yeah, I was fine. I was annoyed, and it sucks that she's gone. But if this is the way that it's going to happen, I'm glad that it happened this way, or like it was presented to us in this way. It wasn't an insult to our intelligence.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at Tiffany.
Oh, yeah, no, same here.
For not playing her fucking idol. She didn't learn from goddamn Hunter, like, literally 2 days ago game time.
And Jem, I mean, she wasn't there for Jem, but...
Well, nobody knew Jem had the idol except for Jem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like... Tiffany. You're a good player. It's just, you know what it is? This season is... Or, like, the overarching theme of this season is people just getting cocky and just assuming I can go one more time, and no, you got to do it. Like Hunter, you should have realized you're a threat and you can't trust anyone on this, and got himself voted out as a result.
I mean, I'll give Tiffany more of a pass than Hunter. Like, Hunter told everybody he had the idol, told everybody he was going to play it, and then in Tribal was visibly nervous and thinking about playing his idol, and didn't do it when he had no reason not to. Like, Tiffany also told people she had an idol, and she was just going to play it just to be rid of it. And then nothing came her way. And so she got reinforcement that, like, she can say that, and it's okay. And then this episode, she didn't really hear anything coming her way. The drumbeat of Q was so loud. And this one was actually done quietly enough that Tiffany didn't get a whiff of it. And so I can understand Tiffany not playing here. It's not like she just said today, oh, I have the idol and I'm going to play it, right? She said that and got away with it. Maybe she can get away with it one more time, right? She's had that positive reinforcement. But, like, she should have done it last episode. Just to be done with it.
Yeah.
Like,
she did. I fully believe that had she played it in the previous episode, like, the jury would have been fine with it. And you know what I mean? Not thinking... Nothing. Oh, you played it and nothing happened. Ha ha ha, or whatever. They'd be like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. You played it because you sensed yourself, whatever. And then they would have realized this episode she doesn't have it. We don't have to worry about it. It's fine. Which is interesting. That means that this season no idols have been played, and everyone who has gotten one has been voted out with it.
And Tiffany was right. When everybody found out she had an idol, she was like, I want to be rid of this because as soon as people know you have it, it's like a curse. And that's when she was like, I'm going to play it. And I'm like, you know what? You were fucking right, Tiffany. And then you got greedy.
Yeah. Do not, like, ultimately it's don't ever doubt yourself.
That's why I'm so mad at her, because she knew goddamn well that everyone knows she has it. And she knew that they got Hunter by doing that. And I hate Q so goddamn much, and I agree with Liz that like he doesn't even care if he's there. Fuck him then. He shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And now it's too late now. They're never going to get him out. They're too close to the end. Why would they vote him out now? They just guaranteed Andy's going to win.
Pretty close.
God damn it. It's going to be the same thing every goddamn week now. They're all going to be like, yeah, we're going to get Q this time, and he's going to get like 3 votes, and they're not going to vote him out.
Oh yeah, it's Lucy with the football, and we're all Charlie.
Yeah.
You
know, I was here nor there on Q for the last few episodes. Like, okay, he fucked up, and now he's GOAT status, and he's going to be used as a smokescreen, and that's not a new thing to happen in Survivor. fine, right? Like, we've seen plenty of these kinds of players before. But, like, this episode is when my entire view on him changed. When he said, he was talking about not bringing Liz, and he said, it's a business decision. And that's when I realized he's one of those people who, like, checks his ethics at the door as soon as it's about money or business or whatever, blah, 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 right? Like his choices weren't wrong. And I don't love the way that Liz sounded entitled to going just because she has these allergies, right? Like, you still have to earn it. And yes, I know you have that emotional attachment, but that doesn't entitle you to going on the reward, right? And I think what gets her on the reward is the fact that she's fucking bawling in front of you. And if you have any bit of a heart of a human being, you take her, you know?
Yeah.
And all the other stuff aside, just like, how do you brutally and coldly do that to somebody to bring people that you know don't like you and have said to your face they're never going to work with you and you're pretty sure are going to vote for you? They're like, at least to get, like, if you honestly think you're going out the door anyway, Q, at least give Liz some food, right? But, like, he is able to completely detach from that by saying it's a business decision. And I have met way too many of those people in my life, and I do not like those people. And now that I know that he is one of those people, it's like, it's just business. Motherfucker, no, there are people working in your business. There are people.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when I'm writing stuff for corporate whatever, blah, 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 executives, and then they use the words resource and asset to talk about people. Like, man, that detachment tells me everything I need to know about you, Q.
For me, it's that Q, if I accept all of his premises, right, then he made the right decision. The problem is, I don't accept his premise that he needed to, like, I feel like he does need to make up jury votes. But the thing is, just taking somebody onto this thing isn't going to get their jury vote. You know what I mean? Like, and we saw that. Like, as soon as he walked away, all three of them were like, this fucking guy, right? So if you want to earn jury votes, which was his stated goal, or at least, you know, his reasoning, justification, whatever, rationalization, whatever word you want to use for it, if that was his intent, then he should have taken, you know, obviously should have taken Liz, because that would get everyone's sympathy, you know, and get her sympathy.
And take Venus. Venus is also a goat, and probably is either going to end up in the jury, and if she don't end up on the jury, then fine, bring her along with you.
Yeah, Venus, and then Tiffany, as a way of saying to Tiffany, like I actually really like. Honestly, his first pick being Tiffany, I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I don't even think Liz can get angry at that, right? Yeah. Like, they've been around since day one. They've done a whole lot together, and there's a rift, and I want to repair that.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds solid reasoning.
And then next she took Maria. Taking Maria makes sense too. You were laying on the beach, totally down and out, and Maria's the one who gave you a lifeline. Like, she did that kindness, do the kindness back. Makes sense.
See, here's the thing. Well, we know more than they do, so I can't say that. I was going to say that she has been scheming and plotting, but again, most of that has been to confessionals. So, yeah they may not know that.
Charlie
but
too.
Also, yeah, same with Charlie, but, like, there's a reason he didn't, like... Okay, that'll be a push for me. Like, maybe that was the right decision, maybe that wasn't. We don't know what he knows, and we don't know. Like, my general thing is, if you are, like, Maria is talking to the camera about how she's going to cut this throat and that throat, and that's fine. I'm not knocking Maria one bit at that. But the thing is, usually, if you say that to the camera, you will tend to act that way a little bit in the game. Nobody is perfectly good at smiling and smiling and smiling, and then when the cameras are on them and they're safe, then expressing all of it at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually there's some sort of tell that gets through there. So, yeah, anyway, long story short is I'm inclined to think that a good player should have a suspicion that she's after them. But then again, also, I just don't think Q is a very good player. I think he's got main character syndrome, where he thinks he's a hero. He thinks of himself as a hero, which is what makes him such a good villain. You know what I mean? If he was like a Russell type person who's just like, I'm going to burn your socks and I'm going to play mind games or whatever, then that's like, oh, you're just trying too hard to be the villain.
Mm-hmm.
But like a real villain thinks that they're the hero. And so he's portraying himself as, yeah, I'm going to make this alliance of 6 and we're going to go far together. And then as soon as you cross the alliance, you're gone and that sort of thing. It's like, that's not really a very good strategy. So
yeah, and then at Sanctuary, he tried to make another 6-person alliance. He was like, the Yanu 3, and then Maria, you can bring in Ben and Charlie, and then we can get out. Like, man, learn from your mistake.
yeah.
Like, you are lucky if you get back from Sanctuary rebuilding one relationship. Like, you got to have a reasonable goal here. Don't go in thinking we need to make a 6-person alliance to get out Venus, because A, that's fucking overkill. It's just Venus. And B, you're never going to wrangle that. And you know you won't wrangle that because you failed at that a couple times, and that's how you got here today.
Yeah.
You know what I think the funniest part of this episode was?
Is
that it might be a coincidence also, but I think Jeff was on the same page as me. The way they were acting when they saw that it was Applebee's and they were all getting all excited, and I was like, dude, it's like Price is Right contestants when they go all crazy before they've won anything.
Yeah.
But then Jeff also said the thing. He said, all this could be yours. Like, I don't think that's a coincidence.
Maybe. I know he does like game shows.
Yeah, he's definitely more self-aware, especially with this cast this season. Like he is, well, like we saw the name of the episode yesterweek, a Spicy Jeff. Like he's definitely being spicy. Episode several. Like I really like the idea that he is no longer trying to be an objective host. Like he hasn't been for a while, but like there's always been that veneer of I'm just going to give you guys the opportunity to say what you want to say. He's provoking them now. Like he provokes Liz. Maybe I shouldn't say. He drew Liz out, I should say. Like he saw that she wanted to say something and she was going through something, so he's like, "Let me give you the space," and then she goes berserk.
Yeah.
And look, not a great look, but also, if it had been that many days, I probably would be berserk too. And then also, like, do you guys watch Inside Out?
The kids movie?
What that is.
Yeah, the Pixar movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like Lewis Black is anger in that, and he slowly builds up, and then explodes. And then he's immediately calm. Like he is that kid's anger. She was anger in that one where it's like as soon as it was gone, like she had the catharsis that she needed. And I think that's probably, that makes a lot of sense because for the last, what are we now, 19 days, I think? For the last 19 days, she's been playing this game where she cannot show her emotions. Because if you do, then people are going to, target you or it's going to blow up your game or all that kind of thing. And she's just like, you know what, screw it. So not a great look. I'm sure she's embarrassed by it, but also I'm like, I'm not going to judge her for it. Whatever.
But I mean, nobody blamed her for it. Nobody gave her shit for it. Like, it's rare when something like that has absolutely zero fallout in the game of Survivor. Yeah. Like, it says a lot that she did that and nothing happened.
Yeah,
nothing at all.
Because everyone understood. Like, and so. On the other end of the spectrum, I'll say this. Like, look, if you have a coconut allergy and all these other allergies and you can't eat half the food that's being presented to you, you probably shouldn't be in the game.
Survivor.
Place. Yeah. That said, like, hey, good for you for being tough enough that you've lasted 19 days with this set of circumstances. But it's like... If somebody is losing in this game, you don't throw them a life raft. You don't throw them a lifeline. You throw them an anchor, and it's like I get why you threw her the anchor. I still think it was a mistake because he's trying to do a goal and clearly he failed. Like everyone hates him, and he just keeps showing himself to be incompetent, and he's not going to be winning as a result. So I think he did his goal wrong, but I can at least see the reasoning behind what he has said.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
I appreciate in this episode all of the little bits of irony. like Kenzie talking about, oh man, I've been wanting to get out Q for a long time, and then Tiffany, she was like, and like I think it was like right after like the morning when she was like, a huge check in your resume is taking out your number one, and then that opportunity gets fucking swiped from her. I think this is the episode where they're like trying to tell you, if you liked Kenzie, she's not winning. Like,
Wait, you don't think she's gonna win, or doesn't have a chance to win?
I don't know, because she's talking like she's talking about making these big moves, and she talks about taking out her number one. That opportunity is taken. I don't know what moves Kenzie has left. Opportunity. I mean, I guess there's something, but she's been bad at challenges. Her strategy stuff has not paid off since the merge. It's not been her. It's been Tiffany and then Cube blowing shit up. Like, I don't think she has. I think she's right. I don't think it's right to take out your number one earlier than you need to. I mean, that's why Soda and Tevin are both gone. But like, you do need to do it eventually, and doing it well when your number one has an idol in her pocket. Like, she's not wrong. That would get her pretty far with the jury. But she can't do that now. Maria did that. You know, I don't know if she has that shot.
But that's it. She's had the ideas and has been in on the planning. So I mean, admittedly, she has to get Maria out. But I feel like if Maria is gone, then Kenzie does have a credible case for saying, I had the idea. I mean, Maria had the idea at the same time. Like, she could spin that in a way that butters up Maria while still giving her not reflected glory, still gives her credit for the move as well. I think that with not even like, we're not talking. Pardon me. We're not talking like a Miracle Erica tribal council. She just needs to have a good final tribal council, and I think that she would stand a chance at winning. I mean, there might be a couple things she should do to bolster her resume, maybe win an immunity. I would say find an idol, but it doesn't look like they're putting idols back into play, so those there are none yet left to do. So, yeah, I don't know. I think she has a puncher's chance. I think Maria right now has the best resume, but that just also means she's the most likely to get gone as soon as the possibility happens. Because they're not taking out Q.
Yeah, I think it's Charlie or Ben right now. Charlie's winning those challenges.
Yeah. Charlie's got that going for him. He does seem to fail the test of, unless editing is not being kind to him, he isn't making strategic moves. He's a part of them, but we're not seeing him being the driving force behind them. Yeah. Now, that said, I don't know. Maybe he is helping with the planning or something, and then he's using Maria as the lightning rod so that she gets voted out before him. But at the very least, one of the two challenges got the good grip strength going on. It doesn't have sweaty palms. Yeah.
I mean,
Venus.
The thing with like Charlie and Maria, right? And you're talking about like the strategy. Like, Charlie and Maria are in the instance where you do need to get out one or the other. Right?
Yeah.
Like, because they both have a legitimate shot going to the end, and if they both get to the end, they're both taking credit for having done the same moves, and the jury doesn't know who's being honest, right? What you need to do, if you're Charlie or Maria, is get the other one out so they can go to Ponderosa and tell people that it was a joint effort, or that Charlie was a big part of the blah, 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 or Maria was a big part of like, you need to send them to the jury so that they can tell the jury how your little two-person alliance ran. Like, they are in an instance where, like, strategically, one of them needs to send the other to the jury before final tribal.
Yeah. I was very glad that Liz sat out in the just, she knew she wasn't going to win anyway, and I'm also really glad that Jeff was like, look, we're not going to get 4. I have a backup plan. It was kind of a roundabout way of saying, we're going to have some mercy on you, Liz. And it's like, good. Yeah.
And I mean, he's also said, I don't know if he said it this season or last season in his podcast, that they are very carefully measuring the amount of food with which you can give people, they're trying to do the absolute minimum possible, and the rice negotiation is part of that. And that the rice negotiation is scheduled to happen so that it can infuse those calories into the game. And so if they're not doing it, he's got to find some other way, because like it was planned that they would get that offer would get taken up on. Like that was the plan. So if that plan's gone, they got to get calories out there one way or another. So like if you really need it, take a jar. If you don't, fine, your call.
Yeah, because like Liz made a really good point in her Berserk Rage, which is you guys have been eating the entire time. Like, and we think about it, like even Ben, who hasn't really gone on very many rewards or any of that, like he's at least been eating rice and all that stuff the entire time. But like Q is always going on the rewards for some reason, and he's always on just the winning side of these things, and so there was a season, oh god, I wish I remember what one it was. I just remember this happening. But there was a season where somebody actually gained weight but by the time they got voted out, but they got voted out like first on the jury. When they got weighed, they had gained like a pound because they had just gone on all of these reward challenges. It's like, this son of a bitch over here.
Carson Garrett.
Yeah, see?
Gained 30 pounds. Oh no, that's something else.
30 pounds.
Like,
no, that's a different thing.
Yeah, as I said, but yeah, I was just like, whatever. It's all good. But yeah, I feel like Q is definitely somebody who is. Well,
Katie Gallagher and Palau. That was it.
Yeah. Does it say how much she gained?
She gained 5 pounds.
Yeah, like that's hella funny if you think about it. That's great.
Because I don't remember who that is.
Palau, I only vaguely remember that season.
Yeah, I'm looking at her picture and I'm like, I don't remember her at all.
You're not going to remember Soda in 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, I will, because she'll be sitting there.
She'll be in the jury, but like 2 weeks after the season ends, you're not going to remember who the fuck Soda was.
Yeah.
I'll say the name and you'll be like, you mean, oh yeah, the person who was named after, no, I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay, who has more to say?
You know, I think it'd probably be really easy to stop Charlie if he looks like he's like, if it's one where they hold on to something, or if it's a balance when he's about to win. All they got to do is be like, Taylor Swift sucks, and he'll freak out.
Like, oh, fuck you.
Okay. I know you're not a big Charlie lover, but I got a moment where I think I connect with Charlie because, no, Brian.
Oh, okay.
Because he was doing the thing, and Jeff's like, the last person to do this was. The longest person to do this was Gabler, 38 minutes. He was out here thinking of everybody, and Charles like, fucking Alaska.
Yeah.
And I think they cut out the word fucking, but I think that might have been what he said.
No. He said for Alaska.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That was great, though. And like, that's, like I said, this is another example, I think, of Jeff being more directly involved in the episodes now, or you know what I mean, like being more of a proactive force, because he's also mentioning people. Like, it very rarely happened unless the theme of the season was something like Ghost Island or there were a bunch of returning players. Unless it was something like that, he almost never made callbacks prior to like the last couple of seasons or whatever, right? But recently we've been seeing that. And then on top of it, like, when Ben's like, hey, Jeff, say something Van Halen or whatever, he's like, well, if you let it go, it'll be bottoms up or some shit like that. Yeah, it's like, he's playing with the people now in a friendly way.
It didn't really make any sense, but...
Hey, well, he's not an improv guy. He just knew, all right, this is a song lyric or this is a title. I will work it in there as best I can. But yeah.
Look, he did better than me. I can't remember names of shit for shit. So I could have been like, man, I'm fucking sorry, Ben. If you could sing one for me, I might be able to guess the name.
Trying to think. I could go with one right now off the top of my head. You better not drop that or else you'll be wanted, dead or alive.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so not Van Halen, but yeah.
Wait, that's not Van Halen?
God, no. Oh, that's Bon Jovi.
All right, here's where I admit, to me, so certain people...
I'm so offended right now.
Certain performers, even ones that I love, they are the same as someone else to me. Like, I have said many times, I only have room in my head for one between Julia Roberts and Sandra Bullock. That's the other one. I can almost never, if I ever talk to you about how much I love Julia Roberts, odds are I'm talking about Sandra Bullock and vice versa.
Can you tell the difference between Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth?
No, not vocally.
Okay.
And the Van Halen that I've heard, like, oh, hey, you know when you should not drop right now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the list of songs organized by most listens on Spotify, and I'm like, oh yeah, Hot for Teacher. I don't know how to work that in, but
Exactly.
that probably would have been the one that came first to mind.
If you drop that, you'll be on Mean Street. I don't know.
No, then I can't stop loving you.
Yeah. I used to have,
Pretty Woman. Over there.
I used to have a game that I would play when I was writing trivia, and I called it the Spotify game, and it was kind of a gambling one because what I would do is I would name the band, and then you, as a team, you had to name one song by the band, and if it was the number one song on their Spotify most played, then you got 1 point. If it was 3, 4, or 5, I'm sorry, 2, 3, or 4, you got 2 points. And then if you named the number 5, you got 5 points. Because it rewarded you if you knew a whole bunch of songs, but also if you're like kind of gambling, like, oh, I don't want to name a deep cut because that's not going to win, and then we're not going to get any points. So it got real intense real fast for some of these.
So you're
and
saying
then my
you
friends
rewarded them for playing with fire? Because in that game, fire represented their life.
Yep, which means we should probably move on, huh? Does anybody else have anything they want to say, though?
I don't know how much we want to talk about the fact that there's 4 people on the jury and 3 of them are black, and the next one's probably the last black person.
No, we don't, Andy. You know, maybe if you weren't racist, you wouldn't have noticed, the race of the people sitting on the bench.
Oh, come on. Don't.
No, I mean, look, what I'll say is that, I mean, they're all players in this game, and they all know what the game is, and they all consciously made this decision. You're right, it's not a great look, but also it's like, we had an alliance we had the Cookout Alliance in a couple seasons ago, and that worked out well and it was good, but it falls apart. This is a good example of race blindness, if that is how I want to say it. Like, it could, if you didn't have the proper context, if you didn't watch this whole season, you haven't watched a bunch of other ones, you would very easily say, oh yeah, look, they're just voting out all the black people.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
No, this is a good look. This is progress. The fact that they're sitting there like that is because they weren't considering their race. Yeah. That's why they're sitting over there. And in fact, every single one of them that's sitting over there, it was instigated by another one.
Yeah.
So,
and let's also point out that, Hunter got voted out between there. So who else?
At least it wasn't a straight run of 4 black people. That's a good.
Like, that would be bad.
Yeah, that might have looked bad.
I think it looks bad already. And that's the thing. I'm a straight white man. I don't have a commentary on why this is happening because I don't have that level of insight to this kind of thing because I have the privilege to not. But
you do know why they're sitting here. You watched this game and you saw what those people did, and that's why they got voted out.
Let me finish the thought. There is some anomalous problem the game has with black people, or that black people have in the game. I don't know what it is. I can't figure out what it is. And you can say okay, this season obviously it's not because of race, but these people just happen to get out. But the problem is the black people always just happen to get out early. It always kind of just happens to happen. And
Marianne won.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Out of 46 seasons.
Earl also. No, I mean, you're right. Here's the thing. You are right in that on the whole, there's definitely, there's race relations stuff going on in the show because there's race relations going on in the world and in America. and nobody thinks of themselves. Well, I should say nobody. Nobody that they would cast purposefully thinks of themselves as, "Yep, I'm racist."
I'm
So
gonna get out
that's
the
not what's going
darkies.
on. But exactly, there's no one who would be like, "Well, I'm just going to vote for that colored fellow over there."
I don't
No,
quite
no, no.
see Charlie saying that in the confessional.
Exactly. But there's definitely a situation where they are disproportionately voted out earlier. That said, what I always tell people about anything when they complain about basically about when they complain about anything in particular, it's like your complaint needs to be the general trend, not the specific instance, if that makes sense. So, for example, oh God, why am I blanking? Oh, I can't remember. Oh shit, I'm blanking. I don't have an example. But the reason I bring that up is because an individual piece of culture, media, art, whatever, is made the way that it needs to be made in order to make it, if that makes sense. Like, to tell the story you want to tell, that is how you have to tell it.
Yeah.
And so you shouldn't criticize one specific piece for telling a story that does not represent you. What you should do is get angry about the people who control who makes these stories. I'm sorry, not who makes the stories. The people who control who gets to tell the stories, that they're not giving you an opportunity to tell your stories, if that makes sense. Like, don't get mad at, like, let's say there's a World War II movie coming out, right? Like Saving Private Ryan. Let's say that comes out today. People are like, there's no women in this. This movie sucks because there's no women. It's like, you're right that the lack of women in movies is a problem. You're wrong that it's a problem with this movie. So what I'll say, the way that I'll tie that into this is, you're right that not just in Survivor, but in all reality TV shows in general, there is definitely an instance where non-white people get voted out. I'm sorry, I should say non-white and non-Asian people get voted out before everyone else, disproportionately. In this case, season 46 of Survivor, I don't think that's a specific issue, but you're right that it is a general issue, and it's something that needs to be addressed on the whole. I think Survivor's going about the like, they're doing what they can to address it without making it without being patronizing. Like, look at the number of black people that were in this cast that were really good, but they're really good, but they largely got voted out because Q fucked up. So you got Tim, you got Tevin, you got Tiffany. They all, wow, that's a lot of T. You got the T team. They all got eliminated when it should have been Q. But yeah, so I don't know. Does that make sense?
All of them made it past the tribal part of the game too. Like, I'm not trying to be like, every season they just get to the black people absolutely first. Like, that's not what happened here.
Yeah, and frankly, there should be, if there's 46 seasons, I can name 2 black winners. There's probably, let's say, another.
There's 5.
There's gotta be. There's 5?
5.
Oh, then actually, proportionally, that's about right. If you look at the overall demographics of the country, it's about 12.5%, I believe. So this is currently a little over 10%. I don't like doing math. So, okay, actually, wow. In terms of mathematical proportions, doing pretty good.
Yeah,
more Mormons.
It's a pretty small sample size. I mean, Marianne winning really pushes it over.
Yeah. Plus, again, Marianne doesn't really count because she's Canadian.
Yeah, there you go.
Erica doesn't count. She's Canadian. Tevin doesn't count. He's Canadian. Also, he didn't win. Man, I'd like to see him again, by the way. But anyway, sorry. Do we have anything else we want to get into?
Yeah, well, we need to change the subject before I get angry. That's what we need to do.
I put it in there not because it would make you angry, but I left it in there because it would. If that makes sense. I had the thought. I wrote it down, and I was
like,
let's move on. We can move on. We can move on. Speaking of moving on, we had a bet resolve. We had our over-under at 1.5 for our Deadpool players in the final episode. And that resolved because Deadpool was Mariah, Maria, and Tiffany. And with Tiffany gone, we are now over 1.5 that are no longer an option. So even if Maria makes it to the end, it's going to be the under, which means Nick and Brian win that bet and get points. We didn't get anything else resolving. We had a couple notable things happen this episode. Q won a feast, and Charlie made Jeff laugh. So we got a couple things moving on the harder parts of the Christian hat trick. The hardest part of the Christian hat trick right now, it used to be make Jeff laugh. Right now is win a feast, because they do maybe 3 feasts a season these days.
Yeah.
So that's the real hard one, is winning that feast and finding that idol. Actually, finding an idol probably happens more often these days than the feast. But that's all. That's for the Christian hat trick, which if you want to find out what that is, you can go to Outwit, Outplay, Outcast.com. On the left, if you hit the button that says fantasy, all of our scoring is there, including the explanation of what the Christian hat trick is. And scoring. Nick, I'm sorry. I think you're out of it this season. You had Liz, Tiffany, and Spicy Jeff. Spicy Jeff got you 0. Tiffany got eliminated. Liz got you 1 point, and you got 3 from the bet. So that's only 4 onto your 47, giving you 51.
Didn't I have Tevin?
Yes.
So then I got
this is bowling. This is bowling turkey. You're right.
Yeah, he got the turkey. Yeah.
All right, +3 for turkey. I remember we talked about that last episode. I'll give you those 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm still out because you want to get a turkey early in the game. You don't want to get one now.
Yeah. And you just have Liz left.
Yeah, I mean,
you might get the 4 points next time.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's not going to cut it, though.
Oh, man. Wait, it's only 3 points? I thought 3 was for our definition was 3, and you got more points.
It's 3 points for the turkey, and then every one you lose after that consecutively gets you 1 more point. So if you lose Liz next week, you'll get 4 points. And then if somehow you lose Spicy Jeff after that, it would be 5 points and then 6. So I guess there is a strategy where you try to have the voted out player every single episode, and then by the end, the person voted out's worth like 12 points or something stupid.
Nah, that does not seem. That seems worse than shooting the moon.
Yeah, it does not seem tenable. So that's 7947, 54. Brian, you had 55 points. You got 1 from Venus because she did nothing but live. Charlie got you 3 because he won that immunity. And Kenzie got you 3 because she won on that reward. +3 from the Deadpool gives you 10 onto your 55 for 65. I came in the week in first place with 63 points. I got 1 from Ben because all I do is live. I got 4 from Maria because she said the episode title and went on reward. And I got fucking 6 from Q again. Q is just giving me the W here. I got 1 for surviving from him, 2 because he got the reward, and 3 because he survived 3 votes. Surviving votes gets you extra points. You want to have the person who's like on the outs. It's kind of like playing with fire, and as you all know, in this game, fire represents your life. So that's why it's more points for that. That's 11 onto my 63, giving me 74. So it's me in first with 74. Brian with 65 and Nick with 54. And with Tiffany gone, I think we did say last episode, if you want to, you can pick somebody up off the jury in case they happen to say an episode title.
Yeah, I'm taking the Ghost of Tevin.
All right.
And we didn't say that last episode. We said that last season. That's been a rule for a whole season now.
It's my I'm tired and the whatever I'm going on.
You see what I'm talking about? Fucking Tiffany. I would only be 3 points behind right now. It wasn't for goddamn Tiffany not playing her fucking item.
If Hunter had played his and Tiffany had played hers, Nick might be winning.
Yeah, that sure would be nice.
Yeah, that's the difference. You did the right thing. You got the players with the idols because it's points in their pocket. But fuck.
That's why I'm getting so frustrated at Q. Q's blowing up my game.
Yeah,
I know how this feels.
And I want to be clear. I am not a Q fan, and I'm not happy to be winning because of Q. I mean,
Are you going to scream at him now?
I'm happy to be winning, but not because of Q. I'd rather be happy winning because of Venus. Like when Venus was getting Brian all those points, like that feels all right.
Yeah.
Now you have to make a video where you're screaming at Q for ruining your game and post it or send it to him on X or something.
Oh, I already did that. How I got the voice.
I'll do that, but I'll make sure that I'm anonymous. So I'm just yelling about Q anonymously on the internet.
Oh, there you go. I have a red hat you can borrow. It's a Mario hat, but if you wear it sideways...
The storm's coming! You said it! The calm before the storm. Anyway, I'm gonna go eat some cheese pizza,
Ooh,
and
nice.
I'm trying to think of other things that Q people do. Inject myself with some adrenochrome and follow the clues on the internet, and we will see everyone next week. Until then, that's gonna be it. I'm so dead. Yeah.
All right.
You know, so I learned a skill with. I learned about the truncate silences feature,
Oh yeah,
and
I can
man, I
tell you
wish I
did.
had. Yeah, like it cut like 3 minutes off.
It
We had a
does.
lot of stuff. My understanding is any silence over a half a second, it cuts it down to by half. Is that correct?
I think that's the default setting. You can change it though. You can change the minimum cutoff. Like you can say it's a full second will only cut down. You can
Yeah.
have that cut down 100%, so there's no silence over 1 second. Like you can change those two ratios, but that is how it works.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, I'm happy with half a second becomes a quarter of a second. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having figured out that, like, I known about it in the past, but I hadn't been able to get it to work properly. And someone showed me how to get it to work properly. And now I'm like, hell yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, you go sleep. I'm going to finish up this really good episode, I feel, of Discovery. And then goodbye.
I ain't fucking sleeping. I'm gonna fucking sail a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and, okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play on Saturday or not.
Fuck.
You son of a bitch.
What?
Well, that's why I'm like, for real, just feel free to go without me for a week. I want us to continue to play. You know what I mean? Like I would much rather the three of you hang out without me 1 week than we go a week where nobody is going. You know what I mean? Like we got
Well,
to keep the momentum on
That
this.
sounds like we can play Deep Rock Galactic then.
No.
Okay.
Nick.
If there's
The whole dynamic of the party is what's making it fun. If you were not there to get us into a fight because you pickpocketed somebody while I was talking to another person on the other side of the, like that is part of the chaos of our run. And if you're not
I'll
there,
tell
it
you
won't
right now,
happen.
I haven't done that in a while. I don't know why people attacked us that last time. That was not me.
Oh, in
because
the kitchen, I think it was Alex.
Yeah, because if it was like if it's been me in the past, I fully will admit that. And the thing is, there's always a cutscene where they're like, "Oh, you'll have to prepare to explain yourself." And usually, what I just do now is I just give them back the thing, and they say, "Okay," and that's it. So that's why I'm like, "Okay, that is not me this time."
Yeah.
So whatever.
I don't
Anyway,
care. It's part of the fun. It's not gonna be the same without you there. So it's
okay,
fine.
that's fine. So because I'm doing a board game day with a friend of mine in Fresno. It's his birthday, and he does this every year where everyone from up here drives down to Fresno and plays board games. And
What game? I must know.
oh, I don't know. That's what's been.
All right.
So
Well,
fun.
tell us afterwards then.
Yeah, because we play a bunch of different ones, but like I'm definitely going to get in a game of Space Base. That's what it's called. Space Base.
I don't know.
This one. It's a good one. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's really good, and I'm terrible at it, but I really like it. But usually we play shorter games or big group games. Like Welcome to Your New Home was a good one a couple of years back. Because basically it's just a pool of cards. 3 pop up, and you get to pick which one you want to use on your own little individual piece of paper, and people can pick the same one multiple times. So it's fine. But yeah, so I'll let you guys know. I don't. If I leave at 5, I'll get here by 8:30. But I don't. I mean, if I leave at 6, I might get here at 8:30, and that would be enough time to play. But I mean, I may just have a lot of fun and leave at like 7 or even 8. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know if I leave and then expect to be back around 8:30 though, and then we can start playing if that's the case.
Cool.